You don't need fame, followers, or fortune to love yourself. You've been lied to. You were told that self-love means looking perfect, driving luxury cars, getting millions of likes, being admired. You were fed a highlight reel and called it happiness. But here's the truth. Real self-love starts when nobody is clapping for you, when no one's validating you, when all you have is your own voice telling you, I am enough. Self-love isn't about selfies or status. It's not about how many people know your name. It's about knowing your own value even when the room goes silent. Tyrese Gibson said it best. If you love yourself, you won't stick around fake friends just to feel important. You won't stay in toxic environments because you're afraid to be alone, because you're not alone. You have you, and that's the person you have to face every day in the mirror. So let me ask you, if the applause stopped, would you still feel worthy? Or have you built your identity around validation that can vanish overnight? Say this to yourself even if no one else says it. I love me even if you don't. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's power. You can't change what happened. You can't go back and rewrite the past, but you can choose what you carry into the future. Forgiveness isn't about saying it was okay. It's about saying, I'm done letting this control me. Oprah, Les Brown, and Iyanla Vanzant have all echoed this. You don't forgive because they deserve it. You forgive because you deserve peace. You've been hurt, you've been betrayed, maybe by family, maybe by a lover, maybe by yourself. But dragging that pain forward only chains you to a version of you that's already gone. You don't heal by pretending the pain didn't happen. You heal by facing it, feeling it, and saying, you no longer get to decide who I become. Forgive your parents for not knowing better. Forgive your past for not being perfect. And most of all, forgive yourself for every wrong turn, every delay, every time you didn't know what you know now. Unforgiveness is a prison with the door wide open. Walk out. Pain is temporary, even when it feels eternal. This too shall pass. You've heard it before, maybe you even rolled your eyes at it. But let me ask you something. What's the hardest thing you've ever survived? Think about it. That heartbreak, that loss, that moment you thought would break you. You're still here, you're breathing. You didn't just survive. You learned something, even if it came with scars. Life is a cycle. Winter doesn't last forever, and neither does your pain. You're not stuck, you're just passing through. You're in a chapter, not the whole story. And if it feels like the darkness won't end, remember, the sun rises whether you believe in it or not. So hold on, because this has come to pass, not to stay. Growth hurts. That's why it's growth. If you want to become someone new, you have to leave behind who you were. That's not poetic, it's real. And it's brutal. Les Brown says personal growth requires willpower, clarity, and a painful honesty about your patterns. Who are you when no one's watching? What thoughts do you replay when you're alone? What do you still believe about yourself that no longer serves your future? Letting go isn't just about people. It's about the identities you've clung to, the fears that have kept you small, the excuses that sound so logical but are really just chains. Write down who you want to become. What kind of discipline do they have? How do they speak to themselves? What environments do they stay away from? Now ask yourself, am I living as that person or just fantasizing about them? The people who trigger you might be the ones who save you. We love cheerleaders. We hate critics. But the truth is, you grow more from correction than compliments. Trusted criticism is not hate, it's a mirror. The people who call you out with love are not your enemies, they're the ones fighting for your highest version. Most people avoid criticism because they're scared to confront their flaws. But real growth begins with awareness. You need someone who says that's not your best, someone who doesn't sugarcoat your excuses, someone who tells you you're slipping. I don't like him, but I love him. That's what people say about those rare voices who challenge them. Be grateful for the people who don't let you settle. They might just be the reason you elevate. You think working 20 hours a day makes you successful? Think again. Burnout is not a badge of honor. Brendan Burchard redefines performance not by how much you grind, but by how well you live, engagement, joy, confidence. These are the real markers of a high performer. If you're always exhausted, always chasing, never resting, you're not high performing. You're just overworking. You're living in scarcity, not abundance. Strive satisfied, not bitter, not burned out, satisfied. You can chase big dreams and still enjoy the journey. You don't have to destroy yourself to succeed. Stop worshipping the grind. Start honoring the process. Louise Hay taught that thoughts are like drops of water. One thought won't drown you, but thousands of negative thoughts over time, that's a flood. You are not your thoughts, but your thoughts are shaping your life. You keep telling yourself, I can't, I'm not enough, I always mess up. And guess what? Your brain believes you. Start telling a new story, one that builds you, not breaks you. Write down your fears, then rewrite them as affirmations. I'm afraid I'll fail becomes I am willing to succeed even if I'm scared. You're not helpless, you're powerful. But power begins with the way you speak to yourself when you're alone. I am in charge. My thoughts shape my world. Self-worth is your birthright. Self-value is your boundary. Ian Van Zandt breaks it down. Self-worth means you believe you are enough, just as you are. Self-value means you demand respect. You ask for your worth and you walk away when you're not honored. If you constantly overgive, overwork, or over-apologize, you're not being kind. You're being afraid of rejection, afraid of abandonment, afraid of not being enough without your usefulness. You are not here to be convenient. You are here to be whole. Stop proving your value. Start standing in it. Your mind is cluttered not because you're weak, but because you're human. Mel Robbins says, put your mental junk on paper, the to-dos, the fears, the regrets, the anger. Get it out of your head and into the light. Clarity is not a mystery, it's a method. Try this. Before bed, write down everything that's swirling in your mind, not for solutions, but for release. Because sometimes the healing begins when you stop trying to hold it all together and start letting it all out. Joe Rogan said it best. Discipline is imposed order. You won't always be motivated. That's why you need discipline. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. You think high achievers always feel like working? They don't. They just show up anyway. Discipline means you do the thing even when it's boring, hard, or invisible. It means you get up at 5 a.m. when no one is cheering. It means you eat clean when no one is watching. It means you say no when everyone else is saying yes. Discomfort is not the enemy, it's the gatekeeper to your next level. Steve Jobs left us with this truth. Success is never certain, life is never promised, so stop playing safe, be willing to risk, be willing to fail, be willing to walk away from what doesn't serve your purpose, even if it looks good on paper. Comfort zones are graveyards for dreams. You will never grow if you only do what you already know. Stay hungry for growth. Stay foolish enough to try what others won't. That's where breakthroughs live. Gary Vee calls it winning DNA, the unshakable belief that things can get better. You don't need blind faith, you need grounded optimism. You need to look at a storm and say, this isn't the end. Bad days happen, pain is real, but winners don't make it their identity. They push through, they reframe, they rise. You want to win? Start by believing it's still possible. The world won't always see your grind, the late nights, the tears, the silence, the isolation. But that's where the real wins are forged, in the shadows. Discipline is not glamorous, but it's powerful. When the lights go off and the crowd leaves, who are you? That's your answer. That's where you win.